Jonathan Roumie isn't just an award-winning actor best known for portraying Jesus Christ in The Chosen. He's a man on a mission to live out the message he brings to life on screen. For Jonathan, playing Jesus isn't just a role, it's a calling. And when others try to mock or belittle Jesus, Jonathan doesn't stay silent, he boldly defends his faith. From handling a sketchy interviewer with grace and humility,
I think there was some kind of a question that got a little bit tricky, but I try to answer with as much compassion and wisdom as the Lord allows me.
To revealing Hollywood's dark agenda to the younger generation.
In the last several years, there's been a sharp and disturbing increase in the darkness of the imagery being used in film, television, and music.
These are moments Jonathan Roumie destroyed those who try to mock Jesus. Starting with when he appeared on The View to talk about his role as Jesus in the new season of The Chosen.
People tell you all the time how much the show means to you. We've had this conversation. Can you talk a little bit about how you take care of yourself in order to be the person people would like you to be and also stay who you are?
Yeah, I think for me it really comes down to making sure that I'm right in my own relationship with God. And for me that means acting out my faith, practicing my faith, and then trying to live at times very difficultly by the modicums of how to approach life that Jesus taught. Like, he set a really high bar.
Roumie talks about the role and how hard it is to play Jesus. He also talks about the unusual requests he gets from fans and viewers of the show.
And it's not easy to follow in his footsteps or his sandal steps. But I try my best, and I try to be present with people when I encounter them on the streets, and even if it's at an inconvenient time or you know, they're asking something of me and want me to do something, whether it's baptize their babies or marry couples, or in the one case, hear a confession. I said, no, leave that for the confessional booth. That's not for me. I play the high priest, but I am not a priest. So
the conversation shifts to the new season and the other side of Jesus that season portrays. One of the hosts wants to know what brings out that other side of Jesus.
Often when we think of Jesus, we think of his peacefulness, right? The Prince of Peace. This season, we see another side of him, though. We see what I like to call righteous anger. Can you talk about what brings him to that place?
Roumie answers this question in the best way possible. He talks about how the leaders back then made it hard for people to practice their faith, and Jesus just wanted to make things easier.
Hypocrisy. Hypocrisy within the church establishment, the temple establishment of his time. So seeing religious leaders basically subvert the meaning behind and the practices of his faith at the time, and extort the poorest of the poor. Yes. During the holidays, you know, when they all had to bring their sacrifices to be slain for Passover, they were getting, you have to pay taxes, and then you have to pay Roman tax, and then there's a conversion tax, and there's all of these these bills, excuse me, fines that were levied essentially just to be able to practice your faith. And among very many other things, that was the last straw for him. And so he wanted to basically reset the temple.
Next, the percentage of non-believers that watch the show was brought up, and another host asks Roumie what he thinks attracts them to the show.
I'm a fan of this show. I'm a Christian, but I actually read that about 30% of your audience is not religiously affiliated.
That's right.
What do you think draws them in?
Roumie points out that the story of Jesus is one of the greatest stories ever told, and he hopes the series does a good job of telling the story.
Great story. I mean, great
it's the greatest story of all time.
The greatest story ever told, and hopefully, you know, for us, told well, and in a way that is comparable to any other cinematic expression or television shows that are out there, and yeah.
Another host referred to the last time Roumie appeared on the show, and she wants to know how playing Jesus has affected his faith journey.
Well, the last time you were here, you said, quote, "There's always more to learn about Jesus." What have you learned about him while playing him, and how has it changed your relationship with him?
He reveals that playing the character has shown him that there is still so much to learn on his faith journey, and trying to be like Jesus just makes him want to be better.
I learned that I have a lot more to learn about him. It's a lifelong journey, you know, no matter where you are in the journey of faith, whether it's you just getting familiar with the Bible or you've been a lifelong student for decades. There's so much to learn. There's so much to to be able to live out in your life and trying to reach those ideals, reach that bar that he set. And as you do so, just the doing, just the trying of that makes you better as a person, as a human, as a member, a productive member, hopefully, of society in a way that you build community, you foster love, you engender hope in people. And that's what I try to do.
Obviously tired of all the faith and Jesus talk, Joy Behar gets in on the conversation and derails it. She talks about Roumie's acting background and shifts the conversation to other projects he is involved in.
Serious story, very serious story, and very important one. I wish people would follow Jesus and his sandals the way you said, and not vilify poor people in this country, which is going on everywhere. But let's switch it a little bit, because you also played comedy. Yes. You did the Mindy Project, The Good Wife, which was pretty funny too, in its own way. What's your next move?
Roumie handles this with grace and humility and still manages to bring the conversation back to Jesus.
This fall, I'll be doing a romantic comedy alongside Kevin James. A movie called Solo Mio. It's a whole different side of me for audiences. I'm clean shaven for starters, so it might be a shock to some people. In fact, I'd seen a meme, I think I posted a picture clean shaven, and somebody posted a meme and said, "Please grow your beard back." They were very unsettled by seeing me clean shaven. They're like, "Oh, yeah."
Well, Jesus, it's really hard to go back.
He's hard to top.
Yeah.
He's hard to top.
In another interview with Matt Fradd, he talks about what appearing on The View felt like and how he was able to handle that situation with Joy Behar so well.
So I wanted to ask you, what was it like going on The View? Because I would imagine you would have thought, could be a minefield, but you seem to handle it. You did handle it really well.
Thank you. I think for a millisecond I was like, I wonder how this is going to go. But I was never worried. I prayed about it, of course, and like everything else that I've committed to on this journey, I have to surrender it. I'm like, Lord, you've given me this opportunity. It must be for a reason. So I'm not going to worry about the consequences. I'm not going to worry about anything. I'm just going to go authentically be who you made me to be, and just be present to people.
He reveals that despite having prayed about appearing on the show, it wasn't what he was expecting. Then he goes on to talk about his encounter with the hosts of the show and the impact he made on them.
The response was overwhelming. It was unexpected in many ways, and and especially for people watching the show, people were more nervous for me than I was nervous for me. I'm like, what? They're people. They're just people. And afterwards, after this segment, I had conversations with every one of the hosts, and they were lovely. And what I realized is there are so many people that are just on a journey. They're searching. They don't necessarily, they may not necessarily believe, they may not necessarily know what to expect, but they're searching, and they were open to what I was bringing to them through the Holy Spirit. And that's the main thing. I gave rosaries to everybody, and they happily accepted them.
Yeah.
They happily accepted them.
Matt pressed Roumie for more information, wanting to know if he planned ahead of time for when the hosts would try to corner him or get him to say something really controversial. Roumie explained that he went in there not really knowing what to expect.
And do you prep for, what if they just try to corner me on some of the things the church teaches that are, heretical to secular dogma? Were you afraid that they might try to do that, and did you have a plan ahead of time, or?
I think like most interviews you go into, you hopefully have a conversation with the people that you're gonna talk to or their producers, and just say, hey, if something comes, this is what we're
about, and
this is what we're looking for. But it's a live show, and you just don't know. But I didn't worry about it, and Whoopi's been kind of a friend. She's become kind of a friend as well, and I think I felt even before that, I felt I think it'll be fine. And then if something does come up, and there was some kind of a question that got a little bit tricky, but I try to answer with as much compassion and wisdom as the Lord allows me.
And said that sharing his faith on any platform is a bold choice he has to make, knowing that he might face backlash for it.
You have to decide what platforms you're willing to discuss, knowing that anything and everything might come at you in the spur of the moment, and just try to really. I mean, what would Jesus do? Like the bracelets from the 80s and 90s and things that are like making a resurgence now. Like, it really is the phrase. It is the ultimate universal inroad into handling anything. Right. If you think about any situation, if you just ask yourself that question, okay, it kind of answers itself. Everything resolves itself if you know how to answer that question. The thing is knowing how to answer the question. Having a right mind, a right attitude, a proper and correlative, disposition to Jesus's heart. That has to necessarily inform your answer when you ask that question.
Still on the topic of sketchy interviews, Matt asks a deeper question.
Are there interviews you've regretted saying yes to? Have you done an interview where you're like, oh, that went sideways? And second, to follow up on that, like, does The Chosen try to keep a rein on you? Because if you go on a show and you don't look, someone tries to make you look bad, or if you say something accidentally that was stupid, I guess that doesn't reflect well on the show. Do they keep a leash on you?
And Roumie answers, revealing that the show doesn't censor what he says, and the producers trust him to always speak the gospel truth.
No, I think they trust me. Dallas and I are friends for 10 years now. And they know my heart, and they know my skill, and they know my disposition. And I don't think that I would go into an interview if I knew somebody was specifically harsh for certain things to certain people. If somebody had a history of asking really awful questions to their guests or really cornering them and things like that, well, then I probably won't do that show. Like, why tempt fate? Why give the devil an opportunity to dance? But I'm not afraid to talk to anybody that wants to sit with me. I think, and I don't think I've done anything that I regret. No.
Yeah, praise God.
I'll just sit. Like I said, I mean,
as always. Like, is there specifically...
Jesus went anywhere he was invited, right?
Yeah, but he was Jesus.
He was.
So, I mean,
but we all have Jesus within us.
Yeah.
We all have the Holy Spirit within us.
It's like Jonathan Roumie never stops playing Jesus. He always showcases the same grace and humility that Jesus is known for everywhere he goes. Just like when he showed up on Good Morning America to talk about The Chosen.
When you first walked in the studio, I said, "Hey, Jesus." Do people say that all the time when they see you on the streets?
They kind of do, yeah. It's pretty surreal.
Oh, my. Well, you actually look like Jesus for real.
And the hosts want to know what it is like to play Jesus.
I like how you looked at me when I actually said you look like Jesus. You're like, oh, have you seen him before? I have not.
I'm like, tell me more.
This has been so well received, just all over the world. What has that been like for you to play, Jesus?
Roumie reveals just how much of a life-changing experience it has been.
It's been life-changing. It's been career-changing. It's been the greatest gift that I've been given, as not only as an actor, but as a person, as a man of faith myself. It's led me deeper into my own faith and made me want to know and experience, how to be just a better person on the day-to-day. How can I better, be a better friend, be a better stranger to people that I meet that need my help or whatever it is, and how can I be a better example of faith in my own life?
Despite having played such an important role on TV, Roumie remembers that he is still human, just like every one of us. He might play Jesus on TV, but he is not Jesus.
I'm not him. I'm not the real Jesus. Let's just get that out of the way. TV Jesus. Real Jesus. TV Jesus. Jim Caviezel movie Jesus. TV Jesus.
However, he shows us that he's not just another actor contracted to play Jesus. He is a steadfast believer who would make use of any opportunity to speak about his faith and God's existence.
God is real and he is completely in love with each and every one of you. How do I know this? Is it simply because my faith is the lens through which I view the whole of my reality? No. Is it because of the miracles that I have experienced in my own life and seen with my own eyes, for which my faith has been the catalyst? Again, no. God is real and he is completely in love with you, because you are all here today.
During the 2023 March for Life rally, Roumie addressed the younger generation and where we are as a society during his speech.
We need to take a quick glance into the mirror of culture, which communicates a few concerns about where we are as a society that I'd like to propose a couple of thoughts about for your consideration, if I may. I want to speak particularly to those of you here that identify with Gen Z and even Gen Alpha. Give it up for Gen Z and Gen Alpha. You are in your formative years, and at a moment in time when you have the power to change culture by impacting the culture through the raising of your powerful voices and voting with your conscience and your resources. For some time now, we have been witnesses to a mounting polarity between light and dark. We've seen it manifest itself in many facets of culture. But I would like to address it as I see it as an artist in the entertainment industry.
He talks about the darkness in Hollywood and the narratives it is pushing to turn young minds away from God.
In the last several years, there's been a sharp and disturbing increase in the darkness of the imagery being used in film, television, and music. The landscape has become increasingly sinister, and in some cases, even demonic in tone, more so than in previous years, sometimes subliminal, oftentimes overt. Storylines involving the occult, witchcraft, demons, and even satanic elements are commonplace in mainstream programming. Many feature spiritually and psychologically disturbing content.
He reveals how the media subtly tries to draw the younger generation and people who are not well grounded in faith into the darkness.
But I'm referring to the media, which is even more ominous. And I don't need to name names. You know it when you see it. The youngest of us and the most vulnerable, as well as those who are not grounded in a solid faith in God, are susceptible to the influences of these images. Media has become a portal to behavior and attitudes kids want to emulate that reject God, reject the light, and reject ultimately all those aspects of community which give life.
He shares how he has witnessed God and faith subtly removed from pop culture over the last few decades, only to be replaced by false beliefs and ideals.
I have observed God subtly but radically being removed from popular culture over the last couple of decades, replaced with some of the most corruptive images and ideologies for young hearts and minds.
Roumie talks about how Hollywood has tried very hard to condemn people who stand for their faith without compromise.
And any of us who profess any kind of faith are branded as fundamental or condemned for their beliefs with the assertions of the religiosity of a Pharisee. This is completely contrary to what it means to have a relationship with Jesus Christ and follow his teachings. If only the rest of the world actually took the time to explore what it means to follow Jesus' heart. Yes, there are always individual exceptions, unfortunately, but for the majority of believers, God is love, and true love gives way to life, not death.
He shares that he rejects the notion that we live in a post-Christian society and encourages believers to change that notion by embracing God and making a meaningful impact on the world.
They say we live in a post-Christian society. I reject that. You can reject that. Change the culture by impacting the culture. Embrace that which is bigger than you. He who gave you abundant life and he who has called you by name. Do not be afraid. Mute the noise of the popular and embrace the counterculture of Christ's love and the message he offers you. The road is wide which leads to destruction, and many will enter it. So enter through the narrow gate, my dear friends, for therein lies the kingdom of heaven.
By playing Jesus Christ on TV, Jonathan Roumie is also making an impact and doing his part to bring a much-needed change to the world. He appeared on the Tucker Carlson show to talk about the biblical accuracy of the TV series The Chosen.
When you're reading your scripts, when you're preparing, you're basically reading the gospel.
Yeah, gospel plus.
Roumie talks about the series and how the scriptures do not always give the full picture regarding certain characters, scenarios, or conversations. He reveals the lengths the producers of the series have to go through to bring authenticity to the viewers.
As a TV show, it's not always, the scriptures as they are don't always give us the full picture of a conversation.
They definitely don't.
Of a character, of a person. So we have to, through, biblical, a group of biblical scholars and advisors that help us and give insight into the things that we're writing. We have to craft these plausible, hopefully authentic backstories that create believable characters that could have existed in the first century, that augment the world that the Gospels give us a glimpse into.
He shares that although a lot of it is scripture, they have used creative license to create a binge-worthy TV show that would make people want to know more about the Bible and Christianity.
A lot of it is scripture, yes, but then there is some creative license taken just to be able to make a good TV show. Because at the end of the day, this isn't the Bible. We're not saying this is the Bible. We have a TV show, first and foremost, that is based on the Gospels and hopefully is compelling enough for you to really, get hooked into it and binge it just like you would binge any other TV show. And then start asking yourself, well, what did Jesus really say? Did he say these things? Is this character really like this? I want to explore. And then if you can get people to read the Bible and then want to have a relationship or even explore what it means to have faith if you've never had faith, or even be curious about Christ. Inevitably, that is the relationship in a person's life that will change their life.
He reveals the end goal of the series and what he and the producers aim to achieve with it.
If we can create an entertaining story that is based on the truth of the Gospels and who Jesus and the disciples were, maybe it'll introduce people to Christ in a way that the audience is introduced to him, and maybe they'll want to follow him too.
While he was talking about the biblical accuracy of The Chosen, Roumie mentioned change, which led Tucker Carlson to ask how the scriptures changed his life.
How did it change your life, the gospel?
His answer was unexpected.
The more I read the Gospels, the more I discover the Bible is alive. It's the living word, right? They say the Bible is alive. And so at any given time, you can read a passage from scriptures from the Gospels, even from the Old Testament, the letters of Paul, the Acts, that somehow will apply to your own life.
He reveals that whenever he is struggling with something, he always finds a solution in the scriptures.
Especially when you're struggling with something. If I'm struggling with something, I just can't figure it out. I have no ideas about where to go to resolve it. Inevitably, the answer is somewhere in the book. And it's a matter of sitting down with it and reading it. And it's remarkable the amount of times I've had something in front of me that I just didn't know how to deal with it. And then I would flip to a random page and it's like the answer is right there. It's right there. So I stopped being surprised about it.
In reply to Roumie's claims about not being surprised when he finds answers in the scriptures, Tucker makes an observation about Christians. He talks about persecution and how he can't wrap his head around why Christians get persecuted.
And to flip it over, they never seem shocked by how screwed up the world is. I'm shocked every single day. I can't believe they're committing abortion outside the DNC, or I can't believe this, that, the other thing. I'm always I can't believe the persecution of Christians. Why would you persecute Christians?
Yeah.
They've never mugged anybody. They're a nice, even if you think their religion's silly, they're the most peaceful people in the world. Their religion commands them to be.
Yeah.
Why are we hating on them and, banning their apps in Europe or whatever we're doing, putting them in jail for praying? But sincere Christians well, yeah. What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
Roumie points out that 2,000 years ago, Jesus already laid it all out. He saw all of this coming and instructed believers to be chill, regardless of whatever happens.
Because Jesus kind of set it up that way.
Kind of did.
He kind of told us 2,000 years ago, you'll be hated because of me, persecuted because of me. Like he lays it all out 2,000 years ago. But just know, it's okay. I overcame the world. You're good. Just remember that you're good when things hit the fan. Just remember that.
Well, I still find it infuriating.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm obviously not a good person.
No,
There
that's
does
a
seem
natural
like
response.
There's a lot of persecution of Christians, and I'm really bothered by it.
Yeah.
Tucker is bothered by the constant persecution of Christians and the fact that no one talks about it. This leads Roumie to reveal how concerned he is when it comes to Christian persecution.
Family, at least on one side, is Arab Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Awful lot of Arab Christians get killed in a bunch of different countries all the time.
Yeah.
And no one says a word about it.
No.
Do you notice this?
I do. Yeah, I do a lot. Christian persecution is something really close to my heart. In fact, I just executive produced an animated short film called The 21.
He goes on to talk about one of his projects based on a true story that highlights it for the world to see.
Executive produced an animated short film called The 21, which came out towards the end of February on the 10th anniversary of the martyrdom of the 21 martyrs in Libya, and who were all, 20 of them were Coptic Christians from Egypt. One of them was non-Christian initially from Ghana, and they just rounded up all these guys. The ISIS came and rounded them up and tried to force them to deny their faith. They're just migrant workers, we're just trying to. They went off to work for a few weeks to try to make some money, and they got rounded up, just captured.
He narrates the chilling story of how believers underwent inhumane treatment, standing up for what they believe in and not denying their faith. Their conviction was so strong that it changed someone.
ISIS was like, yeah, deny your faith and we'll let you go. Don't deny it, we'll kill you. Like, oh, well, we're not going to do that, so. And they tortured them for months. And even the guy from Ghana, ISIS said to him, like, you can go, you're okay, you're not Christian, you're not one of these guys. And he's like, no, their God is my God. And so they say he converted, and he died with them.